What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Jericho Report Weekly News Briefing. It is Sunday, the 30th of May, 2021, Memorial Day weekend. And the end of May and the unofficial start of summer and all that. I hope you're ready for another week of madness, because I bookmarked a lot of stuff this week. And, a lot of tyranny, a lot of New World Order-ish type stuff. Be advised, maybe some loud ranting, I don't know. As always, the first link below will take you over to the Patreon post. That's where you can find all of the madness. Half of U.S. adults are now fully vaccinated. I don't believe this shit for a second. But if you're one of the ones that are fully vaccinated, hey, you're safe. I'm not a danger to you, so stay the hell away from me. I'll put a link to this. Former Detroit news anchor dies. Well, they're getting vaccinated and they're dying off. Here's a Detroit news anchor that's dead. Everyone vaccinated for COVID will die, warns French virologist. Well, maybe this is how the New World Order is going to have depopulation, you think? Let's see, U.S. CDC looking into heart inflammation in some young vaccine recipients. Why would you take a perfectly healthy child and fill them full of poison only to give them lifelong health problems if they live that long? 18 Connecticut teens report heart problems after coronavirus vaccine. That from Patch, put a link to that. COVID vaccines may bring avalanche of neurological disease. I'll put a link to this from a website I don't know, wouldn't doubt it at all. Masks didn't slow the COVID spread of anything, new study says. Of course not, because it was all about compliance. Just seeing if we can get the slaves to comply. Biden won't be speaking at Notre Dame. Over to Joe Biden creepy news. 4,300 students and alumni demand he not be invited. Oh, come on, he's the most popular president in history. Did you see this that he did this week?
I love those barrettes in her hair, man. I'll tell you what, look at her. She looks like she's 19 years old, sitting there with like a little lady with her legs crossed.
To the Secret Service, does it bother you any that you guard a pedophile? I'll put a link to this. I got one more in the Creepy Joe bin. Joe Biden so physically fit, he's hard to keep up with. Well, he just can't walk up a flight of steps. Over to financial news, how the Dow Jones fared on Friday. Looks like it rose 64 points, closed at 34,529. For the week, the Dow was up 321 points. I see 35,000 on the Dow next week, maybe, huh? The Fed has lost control. John Williams warns of hyperinflation by 2022. I don't believe you. Meat eaters hit hardest as inflation sweeps U.S. grocery aisles. Well, Joe Biden doesn't want you to eat meat. Joe Biden proposes $6 trillion budget, increasing federal spending to highest sustained levels since World War II. Well, why not? Charge it up. Bad Blacklisted News has this: $3 billion of taxpayer money used on ad campaign to increase vaccine uptake. Of course it was. Why shouldn't you pay for that? 83% of employers, however, will not mandate COVID vaccines. Only 4% say will, says survey says. That's a good choice. Unvaccinated people made to pay $999.99 for Florida concert, while the vaccinated pay $18. I predict this band will fail massively. I'll put a link to that. Donald Trump sued China virus hurts Chinese Americans. It's funny because all this week they're talking about how this thing might have come out of a Wuhan lab and all this. Now Donald Trump's being sued for what? Speaking of China, man kills 5 in revenge attack over failed investment. There was a video. I think it got pulled down, though. He drove his car into a crowd of people or something like that. Amazon back in the United States to buy MGM Studios for $8.45 billion. More monopolies being set up. New report and scorecard shows which retailers are using facial recognition on shoppers. Put a link to this. And the BLM co-founder has now resigned over right-wing attacks after a $3 million housing portfolio was revealed. Black Lives Matter to her bank account. Over to New World Order and Police State News. This is where I stop you and ask you to share this video because there's important stuff coming up. Look at this. Divorce court judge orders COVID-19 vaccine for Liberty County man to see his children. No vaccine, no see your children. It's a mainstream article. Up in Canada, just a regular day, offering free ice cream to children to get their COVID shot. No parental consent necessary. Come over. It's like when you were a kid and they warned you about, taking candy from the guy in the white van because he might snatch you in. That's what's going on. This is not a drill. They're giving out tickets in Ontario for shaking hands. How dare you touch hands? Oxford University used cell phone data to track millions as part of its government-ordered vaccine study. This is out of the UK government. Well, it's not like we didn't tell you that years ago. Enough. Biden renews calls for gun control after San Jose. Okay, this guy went into this job and shot up some of his coworkers. Oh my God, the evil guns. We got to get rid of these guns. There were at least 12 mass shootings across the U.S. this weekend. Of course, to CNN, a mass shooting is like 2 or more people. 2 people. And there's a mass shooting in my city every night. Then I'll put a link to this, and they're all legally registered firearms and all that. We got, of course, David Hogg got in on the action. He says Americans are increasingly buying guns because of other Americans' skin color, immigration status, gender, and sexual identity. What? I'll put a link to this very confused person. Biden ATF nominee supports ban on AR-15. Of course he does. Look at this now. We got this whole January 6th riot, 1,000% worse than 9/11. 3,000 plus people died on 9/11. 343 FDNY firefighters dead. And what happened on January 6th is somehow worse than that? What is, AOC is apparently damaged. AOC says she's in therapy after Capitol riot. Lawmaker effectively served in war. Shut the hell up. I'll put a link to this. Screw your feelings. BLM founder says revolution will not be through ballot box. Calls U.S. flag symbol of hate. Oh, but the January 6th people, they're the terrorists. I got one more. Why is Biden regime sending plane loads of illegal immigrant minors to red states? Why are they keeping it from members of Congress? And look at this. Right under your nose it's going on. And the people on January 6th are the terrorists? I don't think so. It is just absolutely unbelievable to me how backwards everything is in this world. Over to World War III news. Watch out, Joe. China reveals God of War stealth bomber can fly 5,000 miles nonstop to nuke U.S. air bases from Beijing. Put a link to that. Express China warns 2-week Australia to stay out of Taiwan and be one of the first to be hit. Put a link to that. Russian solar winds hackers may have launched a new campaign, Microsoft says. More Russian hacking going on. Biden frees Al-Qaeda ally who plotted to smuggle nukes in the U.S. A possible Operation Blackjack hit here, I don't know. Meet the outspoken rabbi who says Israel's a monster that should be removed from the map. Well, Iran would agree with you. Iran officials say nuke inspector deal expired as talks go on. Over in Lo Kim vows to build North Korea socialism amid U.S. nuclear impasse. Put a link to that. Pentagon aims to partner with ADL and SPLC, spy on military members for extremism. Never mind what's going on in the world. We got to watch our own people because, read the MIAC report from years ago talking about how, military members and former military members they're all domestic terrorists and all this stuff. National Guard leaving the Capitol after 5 months of providing security. Put a link to that. And I got one more. Report Biden administration urges U.S. embassies to promote Black Lives Matter movement on May 25. I believe they are doing that. Over to Earth changes in 2012 news. Are you telling me there's been no 6-point quakes this week? Let's drop it down to 5. A lot of 5s going on. I guess there's been no 6-point or above quakes this week. Put a link to the earthquake data. Do have the mountain going off over there. At least 15 dead, 170 children feared missing after volcano erupts in eastern Congo. Officials say big volcano going off. 21 runners dead as extreme weather hits China marathon. We're passing out dead over here. In Italy, cable car fall. 14 dead after accident near Lake Maggiore. Put a link to that. Cable car fail. 2 dead, 10 missing after boat overturns near Key West, Florida. That sucks. Them waters down there can be crazy. Titanic replica now under construction in China. Speaking of overturned boats, put a link to that. The smell is rotten. Australia's mice plague. Apparently there's mice out. Well, they need to do what Chicago did. Just get a bunch of feral cats and release them on the run and take care of those mices for you. And one more. Biden laughs off question about UFOs at press conference. UFOs, that's way above my pay grade. Over to strange and bizarre news. Man, it has been a crazy week for the airlines. Flight diverted to MSP after man snorted cocaine, paced aisle with butter knife in his hand. I love cocaine. Meanwhile, violent fight breaks out mid-flight. Flight crew threatens to land plane. I don't know where this happened. This is Spirit Airlines somewhere. People fighting in the... How do you fight in the plane? Flight attendant beaten and bloodied on flight. Passenger pummels her in the face and knocks her teeth out. Put a link to this. Is anything real? Speaking of planes, look at this. Now, I don't know where this came from. Somebody posted this on GLP this week. I don't know. Apparently, the vice president's walking up some steps onto a green screen platform or something. There's a video there. I don't know about that. School bus driver slaps 10-year-old girl in the face for not wearing a mask. I know she lost her job. Let's see. Awful. Daughter records this video will break your heart. She records her dad crying, begging her not to get the vaccine. And she went and got it anyway. Well, whatever happens to her, that's her problem, not her father's. No vaccine. Oh, this woman wasn't going to have it. Woman accused of driving recklessly through tent. She ran down the vaccine tent. Put a link to this. Belgium's anti-lockdown Rambo facing terrorism charges. Traceless for 5 days. Rambo, is he still? I think he's still on the loose last I checked. Put a link to that. Walmart apologizes after racist email with the N-word. I am not making this up. That's what they sent out, apparently. I'll put a link to that. Glorious, huge Trump 1 banner lowered at Yankee Stadium. Thursday night's game, right on. Put a link to that. Teen Vogue explains how to use menstrual blood in witchcraft to their 12 to 17-year-old readers. Put a link to that, and I got one more. Elliot Page, you know Elliot Page, right? You, also known as Ellen Page, you know, the movie Juno, the movie Inception. She apparently, you know, I'm not even going to comment on this too much. I'll put a link to the... I'll just say that I truly don't understand this world we're living in. I just don't. For all other news, please check my favorites. I favorited quite a bit of stuff over here. There's some fresh content over here. Thank you to everybody who puts out content, keeping everybody informed. You guys are doing awesome work. I got a few shout-outs this week. Shout-out to the Resistance. To vaccine mandates is building. People are, you know, good. Any awareness, you know, keep sharing things about, you know, stuff that's banned. We can't talk about it here on YouTube, but keep sharing and keep informing people because, you know, the awareness is spreading. Talk show host Wendy Williams, shout out to her, leaves Dr. Oz stuttering when she repeatedly says she will not be getting the vaccine because she doesn't trust it. And but I love how they can try to convince you, but you see, it's safe and effective, and all the studies and everybody's got it. And they keep trying to, like, but you're crazy if you don't get it. Anyway, shout out to her, and shout out if you want to look at something other than all the bullshit that's going on. Shout out to this guy, local railroad worker, defies boss. His boss told him to leave this kitten alone because he got to get the train moving or whatever. He says, "Screw that! I'm gonna crawl inside the train." He saved a kitten, man. Heartwarming story. I mean, it looks like a little koala bear. You got to check out that story if you're looking for something to get your mind off all the bullshit. Check that story out. It's awesome, and shout out to that guy. That's all I got, guys. If you like the report, please give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. If you think it sucked, it's the worst of YouTube, you never want to see it again, please rate. It helps it move around. You can also follow me on BitChute, you know, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Make sure you're following me everywhere just in case something happens to the YouTube. You can also support me on Patreon or directly with PayPal. I put a lot into this report this week. I just want to get through this, man. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I got all this news to put out, and I'm trying to not rant so much because past couple weeks people telling me, "Oh, you're screaming, I can't handle it." Okay, I'll try to back it down a little bit, but I can't promise you it's going to go away. I mean, if you're suffering from PTSD or anything like that, you probably don't want to watch my videos. This week, I feel a little bit more toned down. You know, next week, I expect, you know, maybe there'll be another false flag, something going on. They're going to come after the guns. You know, the vaccine shit isn't going to stop. I still predict that the Indian variant's going to show up in the United States and it's going to blow up here and it's going to be blamed on all the people who didn't get the shot. Where do you think you're going? Where do you think we're going here? Please leave your comments. My brain's kind of tightening out. I'm going to get this edited and get it out. That's all I got. You guys take care. Stay safe. Have a good week. I love you very much. Be ready for anything at any time. Because, man, we can go in so many different directions. We just don't even know. I'll see you on the next one.